Hey, welcome back to MTG Budget Finance. I know you probably have been wondering without a video in so long, does this channel even exist anymore? That's right, we're still around, super casual, just having fun, throwing out a video when I feel like it. And today you're gonna get a special treat here. I think you're gonna get to go further down the rabbit hole on this than you will anywhere else. So what's up? Okay, the conversation is about this postmodern. The whole idea is that modern is getting to be a huge eternal format, and maybe at some point we're going to get a brand new modern that will get just as modern was a new smaller eternal format to replace legacy. At some juncture, we might get another smaller eternal format to replace modern. Just sort of a natural ebb and flow of the game or whatever. The idea is that before Legacy there was actually Vintage, but Vintage became so inaccessible that they decided Modern would be the go-to Eternal format. And for a while, Legacy was a pretty big deal. But then they realized, well, there's reserve list cards in Legacy. We need a format without reserve list cards. So then we got Modern. And now Legacy is becoming, I mean, it's not quite, where Vintage is. Don't get me wrong. We still get some Legacy play here and there. It's definitely not Vintage levels of obscurity. But Legacy has certainly fallen off a lot, especially compared to where Modern's at. But what if Wizards said, you know what? What if we just shifted the focus to an even newer format that could be even cheaper? Because even with all these Eternal Masters sets, you can only drive prices down so much, and you don't want to completely reprint the crap out of everything because then you're going to really upset all the people who are holding all these cards. What if the easiest thing is at some juncture just to shift things over? You're like, wait a minute, no, that's not Wizards. They're not just going to come in and accommodate everybody in some nice lovey-dovey kind of way. Okay, you're right. There's ulterior motives at play here. We'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, why is this a thing right now? Some of you may have already heard about all this because there was an announcement on November 9th that there would be a big announcement on December 6th. And so it says, this was by Blake Rasmussen. It says, we do love announcing our announcements, but you should pay special attention to this one. All fall, we've been offering small glimpses into the future of competitive Magic gaming, and we know you have questions. On December 6th at the Game Awards and on this website, you'll get answers. So this could just be some innocuous announcement where they explain they're going to have some new special arena tournaments or something like that. There's a pretty good chance that postmodern is not a thing. I repeat, there's a pretty good chance postmodern is not a thing. So what I'm doing here is this is my attempt to do a conspiracy theory take on this, similar to proving to you that Bigfoot is real, but Bigfoot's probably not real. I mean, that just seems a little too far-fetched. And this is probably not going to happen either. It's probably too far-fetched. But if it was going to happen, well, what would we be looking at to find proof of this Bigfoot? Well, first of all, it's not totally obscure and crazy because we've got the Tulare Community College recently on November the 20th had a little deal where they talked about postmodern as a potential thing that could actually happen. Not necessarily super optimistic, but hey, possible. Next we have a picture of Bigfoot. Definitive proof? Maybe. Alright. Moving along. Next up, let's get to the real meat and potatoes here. So you've got Arena. Arena is a big deal for Magic the Gathering. Now, again, maybe we're just going to get some Arena type of announcement, but there's another type of Arena announcement that if it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen eventually, which is what happens when all of these standard cards rotate and people have nothing to do with them. Eventually, there's going to have to be some kind of Arena Eternal format. And what I've heard, rumor mill stuff, I have no proof of this, really. I'm just telling you to believe it anyway, kind of like Bigfoot. I've heard that they have programmed back through Kaladesh. Now, there's people out there saying that postmodern would start at Kaladesh. There's other people saying that postmodern would start at Magic Origins, but that would be right after Khans, so there's no fetch lands, reduced to shuffling. There's a lot of designers at Wizards of the Coast that aren't big on shuffling, yada yada yada. The point is, it's either going to be Kaladesh because that's already been programmed into Arena in the background, or it would be Origins because that skips Khans, a good starting place. One of the two, who knows? Who knows if this is even going to happen, right? For all we know, they could just start at the current standard going forward. So there's just no telling. But the point is, Arena's going to have a big problem if people's collections rotate and Arena's a standard only platform and you can't dust your cards, so you've got this giant collection of cards you can't do anything with. People are going to get real freaking salty about that. And while, Wizards may not really care that much when people get salty, their general attitude might be like, we don't care. This time around, they're going to actually have to do something because it's going to cost them a lot of money with that many people getting mad. So a lot of them will just quit playing Arena. So they're going to have to do something. So this is coming sooner rather than later. The other thing is, because Arena is such a big deal, once you have this whole concept of a postmodern, Arena Eternal format, it's just a matter of time before it makes its way into paper. So the thinking is, maybe from day one, they just create it as a format in paper and in Arena. This would give legitimacy to the Arena format because that way people won't be like, well, you're just playing some weird wonky Eternal format because Arena is, kind of crappy and they're too lazy to program in more sets. Instead of that, they could say, no, this is an iteration, it's an improvement, it's a new modern. We're doing this on purpose, and Arena lines up perfectly. So it kind of gives legitimacy. So when you're on Arena playing this format, you don't feel like you're playing some weirdo, wonky format. You feel more like you're playing a real format. Plus, there's just some nice crossover synergies by having it be a real online format on Arena and a paper format. All right, what else have we got? Okay, so this big announcement's coming on December 6th. What happens the very next day? Well, Ultimate Masters is going to be released on December 7th. Now, you got people out there who have been saying, look, they're not going to announce a new postmodern format the day after they just did Ultimate Masters, where all these people went out and bought Ultimate Masters to get all these sweet modern cards. The very next day, they're not going to say, hey guys, guess what? Modern's a defunct format now. We're not going to focus on it. It's going to die a slow or quick death. And you suckers already bought all those cards and no refunds, right? A lot of people are like, wow, that would just make people so mad. They're not going to do that. There's no way. But I don't think they're thinking about this correctly. Let's really think about how this would actually go down. Wizards would say, look, we created Ultimate Masters in part to be sort of a farewell send-off to Modern, in the sense that we're turning the page. It's no longer going to be the only, primary flagship Eternal format of choice for us now, as it has been for a while. But don't worry, people. Modern's not going anywhere. Modern's still going to be a thing. So don't worry. Don't panic. It's okay. It's just that we're now going to have another option available for you, right? So it's not like Modern's dead and gone, and they're like, and to celebrate, this kind of turning of the page, we've got Ultimate Masters for you guys to enjoy. And I mean, come on, think about it. Imagine at the time, let's travel back in time, and I want you to think about when the transition was happening, when Modern was being announced, when the realization was hitting that Legacy was no longer going to be the go-to number one default Eternal format. Imagine back then that Wizards had announced some kind of reprint set that had all the juiciest Legacy staples that were not on the reserve list. We're talking about Wasteland. We're talking about I can't even think of anything, but like the counterspell from Legends. You get all Mana Drain. That's it. Yeah, Mana Drain, Caracas, Sinkhole. I mean, just go down the line. Every staple that's good in Legacy that isn't on the reserve list. They just put out this massive EB reprint set. Would people go, oh, forget that, I'm not buying that stuff because, I want to, because, nobody's going to play Legacy anymore. No, there were still a lot of people who were full on supporting Legacy, and there was a ton of people who had gone, wait a minute, you're giving us all these sweet reprints and it could be a long time before we see these cards again? Never mind just the Legacy players. I mean, even if Commander had been rocking and rolling full tilt at that point, there's a ton of Legacy and Commander players who would think, this is my last shot, I got to get this now. It could almost add an extra level of hype into the buying if you set it just the right way. Yeah, it's going to probably upset and alienate some people, but at the same time, if you're saying, hey, look, this is your last shot to really get this stuff in this kind of a way because we're going to be shifting focus and, whatever. Now, another thing to think about with these Masters sets that's kind of interesting is the whole way this has been unfolding. For quite a while, we saw Masters sets rolling out, fairly infrequently. Every year or a couple of years, we'd see a Masters set come along. And then all of a sudden, we've seen iconic, we saw Magic 2000, Modern Masters 2017, Then we got Iconic Masters. Then we got Masters 25. Now we're getting Ultimate Masters. I'd have to go back and check, but I think we got like 4 Masters sets within like between 2000. It's like within a couple of years we got like 4 Masters sets, just boom, just the floodgates opening up. So what the heck is going on? Well, we all know that Wizards of the Coast pre-plans what they do. They plan way out into the future. But they've also been making a lot of changes lately. Changes in their digital operation. They renamed Grand Prix to Magic Fest events that have Grand Prix. There's been a lot of shakeup going on. So what if they had been planning out these master sets to roll out, once every year, once every couple of years, but then there was a shakeup where they realized they were going to be shifting focus to a newer, shorter kind of basically a smaller Modern, and then focusing on Commander. And that was where the future was going to lie. And, Modern and Legacy just weren't going to be as big of a deal to them anymore. And they kind of thought, as long as we're creating all these reprints and making all these older formats more accessible, we're encouraging more people to play those formats. What if we shifted our focus to letting those formats get too expensive to play, so people play more recent formats and have a greater incentive to buy newer cards, right? I don't know. Look, conspiracy theory. Da 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 da. Right? So there's possibilities here. It just all depends on how you look at it. Now, we're not done yet. The rabbit hole goes deeper. Check this out. We get the announcements for the Magic Fest schedule. Up until, this last year, we got an announcement for having like a GP in Oakland. In the past, they would tell you what the format was, right? Well, this last year they started this new thing where they announce having, basically a Magic Fest, which is basically a GP with a bunch of other stuff, but they don't tell you the format. Now, at the time it was like, hey, this gives us maximum flexibility to make sure we're setting an event people will be excited about. It's kind of like wink, wink, nod, nod. If Standard sucks, we can do Modern instead. And everybody was like, hey, that is a totally super sweet idea. We like it. Nobody questioned it because it was a good thing. I get that. But what if this was to hide something? What if they knew that sometime this year they were going to start rolling out a new Eternal format and they wanted to schedule some GPs for that format? But if they announced that, say for example, GP London is going to be PostModern, everybody would be like, holy crap, they just announced the new format. And what if they didn't want to announce that new format yet? It was too soon. Well, they'd be like the cat out of the bag. Okay, so what if they announced all the GPs everywhere except for 3 or 4 GPs that they're like to be decided? Well, that would just look too questionable, too sketchy. People would catch on. And, so what if they thought, wait, no. We'll hand this all off by just not announcing anything. And hey, it will give us more flexibility. It'll give us the flexibility to schedule postmodern tournaments, right? So they just kind of figured this would all work out. Now, not only that, but what we do have upcoming that has been announced, so they have to give us the information for the next quarter. They can't sandbag that hard. So by giving us the information for this next quarter, they've scheduled a lot of modern events. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Almost half of the upcoming GPs between January and March are modern. That is a ton. That's a crap ton, especially when you compare it to the number of standard GPs. There's literal 2, Toronto and Kyoto. Check this out. I'm sorry, there's 3. There's also Memphis. So let's see. Oh, sorry, Toronto's modern. I guess there is just 2. There's 2 standard events over the next quarter. Memphis and Kyoto. That means that there's no standard GPs in South America or Europe. There's only 1 standard GP in all of North America for the whole quarter, right? That's just crazy. But what if you wanted to make sure you threw a bone to modern players to ease their worries that modern was going to be a dead format? I mean, what better way to do that than say, even though we're announcing this new format, we're not just going to rush out right into GPs. We're going to give people time to digest, think about it, get the cards, iterate. We're going to give it a quarter. And meanwhile, we're going to do a ton of modern to prove to you guys that we're still committed to modern. Don't you worry. Keep buying those Ultimate Masters boxes. Modern's not going anywhere, right? I mean, it would kind of be just hitting all the, hitting it everywhere. That would give the local game shops time to, capitalize on this new format and get Channel Fireball and Star City Games time to think about how they're going to integrate that stuff. So basically, what I'm saying is, I think the way they set this up, they couldn't have really scheduled a postmodern tournament in the first quarter because they have. I mean, we're in basically almost December. They have to give us information on the formats for the first quarter, and if they had gone ahead and put something like postmodern, they'd be spilling the beans before they wanted to. So I think by just doing it this way, they're able to keep the information hidden, reaffirm their commitment to modern, to ease all the modern players' worries, while building the hype for this new format in layers. So you get like the announcement hype. And then once everybody goes out, gets their cards, starts playing it, get another wave of hype once people are playing at their local game shops. And then around April, you start to get another wave of hype when people actually go out and start playing these at the upper echelon of competitive play on the GP circuit. So yeah, but just to be clear again, this is probably not going to happen. This is probably all just a bunch of, Bigfoot conspiracy theory. But, there's a lot of writing on the wall. So what do you do? What do you actually do with this? Well, what you should probably do is consider the possibility of investing in a handful of Magic cards. And I know what you're thinking. It's like, well, why should I go out and buy Magic cards when you just told me that nothing's probably going to happen? Well, here's the thing. Let's say there's a 10 or 20% chance that something's going to happen. That's a real low chance. That is not something that's likely to happen. But on the other hand, if something does happen, then we're looking at absurd, massive, crazy returns on investment. And we're talking about dollar cards turning into $5, $10, maybe even $15 cards. We're talking about absurdo, crazy land returns almost overnight. So even though it's an extremely small chance it's going to happen, the returns are so big that you got to consider going in on this. Okay, next. You can also really hedge your bets by looking to pick up certain types of cards. All right, let's break this down. It's either going to start somewhere around Magic Origins, or it's going to start around Kaladesh. So what I'm going to say is, let's skip Battle for Zendikar, Oath of the Gatewatch, Shadows over Innistrad, Eldritch Moon, and Origins, because we're not for sure that that's what we would be getting, even if we got a postmodern. If we got a postmodern, whether it starts at Origins or Kaladesh, either way, it's going to have Kaladesh cards, Aether Revolt cards, Amonkhet cards, and Hour of Devastation cards. These are the 4 sets we want to look at. Why? Because we don't want to gamble that we get it right with postmodern, but we get it wrong on the starting point, and we completely pick up a bunch of cards that still aren't postmodern legal. That would be just a huge feel bad. No matter what, we're going to go with the sets that we know would be there if this, weird Bigfoot thing happens. So Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, Amonkhet, Hour of Devastation. Why are we not looking at sets after that? Because they're standard legal. We don't want to pay a premium for cards that are in demand and standard. We're looking to hit a home run. We want to pick up stuff at cheap pricing for big returns. We don't want to pay already expensive prices, standard prices, for stuff to just get a bump from there. So this is it. We're honing in on these particular 4 sets. Now, there's 2 other caveats as we actually look at these 4 sets. We want to look for cards that are not too good. Let me give you a quick example. If you take a quick look at Kaladesh and you look at Smuggler's Copter, if I can find it, Smuggler's Copter is $2 right now. It's definitely good. There's no question about it. This would be an all-star, but maybe it's too good. This was banned during its life at standard. Maybe this is a card that also gets banned like right out the gate. So again, maybe you get it right about the fact that postmodern comes along. Maybe you even get it right that you go in on the right sets, but if you pick up cards that are going to get banned from day one, then you could have a problem. Now, if you want to pick up a play set of Smuggler's Copters just to be on the safe side, go for it. They're only a couple dollars each, so have fun. Same kind of thing with something like Aetherworks Marvel. This is a card that could be banned from day one. I'm not saying it will be. We just don't know. We don't know what they would do if they took a really conservative approach to the format and banned a lot of things that, could be sketchy out the gate, then, that could be a problem. So what we're looking for are cards that are from, again, Kaladesh, Aether Revolt, Hour of Devastation, Amon Ket, but are good, but not so good that they might get banned right away. So take a card like Verdurous Gearhulk. This is a card that definitely saw some standard play during its time, and it's currently a whole whopping $1 for a mythic. It may or may not be good in this new format, but it's a good card. It's a mythic. It's $1. You can pick up a playset, and it's kind of a free roll. If it doesn't do anything, it's still got commander appeal, so you can always get out later there. And that's the next thing we want to look at. We want to pick up cards that are going to be something we could throw at commander or modern, even if we're not going to see anything else happen. So our downside risk is really low, because whatever happens, at least we have outs we can go to get rid of these cards in formats that we know are already in existence. So a card like Verdurous Gearhulk, it's $1. It's got some interesting upside. A card like Fumigate is 65 cents. It's a Wrath effect, probably one of the better ones out there. Even something like, Blossoming Defense is an uncommon. It could have some real appeal. It's 59 cents right now. Oh my gosh, a Bristling Hydra in an energy midrange deck feels like it could have, and of course it depends, what if any energy cards get banned out the gate. But Bristling Hydra, I don't think they're going to, if this new format comes about, I don't think they're going to ban, too many cards. I think the only thing that they might ban on energy would basically just be the Aetherworks Marvel, and that would be it. So you look at something like Bristling Hydra, it's a 46-cent card, and it is a house. So that's, you get the idea. Look at this, Scrap Heap Scrounger, 40 cents. That guy's definitely gonna be, it's gonna fit into a deck somewhere. Check this out, Aether Hub, a card that will be a staple for many, many decks to help fill in the mana bases. Remember, no fetch lands, and it's 33 cents. It's just, it's incredible. All right, let's look up kind of at the most expensive stuff. Chandra's $11, but that's a huge discount over where it's been in the past, and it has some relevance in Commander, a little bit of relevance in Legacy, a little bit of relevance in Modern. You pick up a playset of Chandra, and it's not bad at all. And who knows, this thing could be one of the top Planeswalkers in the new format. It wouldn't be crazy to see it catapult up to $30 or something. Spire Bluff Canal. Remember, no fetch lands means the fast lands are going to be super in demand. It's $7 right now. I could easily see a card like this doubling up, just boom up to 15. Panharmonicon is really just more a commandery kind of card. It's not what we're looking at. Torrential Gearhulk's a house at $5. This could double or triple easily. Blooming Marsh, also, like I said, just fast lands are going to be everywhere. Saheeli Rai is sketchy because there's a chance that they could ban Saheeli Rai combo right out the gate, and Saheeli Rai is not really a thing. But if they don't, then it really could be a thing. That's not really where I want to be. I'd want to be more on the cards like Chandra and the fast lands, Torrential Gearhulks, that kind of thing. After that, I'd say we pretty well fall off all the way until we get down to Verdurous Gearhulk and the other cards we already talked about. So anyway, that's Kaladesh. Let's take a quick look at Aether Revolt, see what we've got there. We're just going to work our way down. So Walking Ballista, this card is already just a great card in pretty much every format, but not so good that it gets banned. And because you don't have any Tron in this new PostModern, Walking Ballista wouldn't be quite as strong. You don't have any of the degenerate, I shouldn't say any, you don't have much in the way of the degenerate things to make Walking Ballista so good, but it's still a great card. And I think that even if it didn't immediately take over the new format, having a playset, there would at least be enough surrounding hype that its price would be going up. So they're really expensive already though at $17, but you really can't lose picking up Walking Ballista because it's just so good in so many formats that the price is only going to go up, and it could definitely get a nice bump if we got another format. Paradox Engine's Commander, wouldn't touch it. Brawl, I wouldn't really mess with this. It's $5 because of Storm. I just don't know where it would fit in this new format. Metallic Mimic, Heroic Intervention, none of these are okay. Fatal Push. This would be a go-to staple removal card in the new format, just like in Modern. So I could see Fatal Pushes going from $4 up to $6 to $8 pretty easily. Disallow would be a very solid counterspell. Keep in mind, there's no more cryptic command. I mean, there's no cryptic command. If you look at most of the counterspells being run in the modern control decks, most of those counterspells don't exist. Disallow is great. Also, disallow is just not that bad in Commander either. So picking these up at $3 seems real solid to me. All right, next up. Oh, let's see what else we've got. Gifted Aetherborn, I don't know. A lot of this stuff kind of falls off. Oh, here it is. Heart of Kirin, $1. Now, the reason Heart of Kirin is $1 is because of the Challenger decks, which, by the way, if you listen to the kind of cards I'm talking about, the Challenger decks are not terrible pickups in general. And anyway, so if you want to go that route, just pick yourself up some Challenger decks, and a lot of those cards there are going to be relevant in Modern, some in Commander, but definitely almost all those cards would be relevant in the format we're talking about here. Anyway, Heart of Kirin at $1. If you wanted to sort of hedge your bets, you could pick up, maybe 2 Heart of Kirins and then pick up a Smuggler's Copter. So maybe for every Smuggler's Copter, put an even amount of money into Heart of Kirins and Smuggler's Copters. So no matter what happens, you're covered, because either you come out the gate and Smuggler's Copter is banned, so you got all these Heart of Kirins, or you come out the gate and Smuggler's Copter is not banned, and you got a big pile of Smuggler's Copters. So, that would, if you had like $40, you could basically just stock up and get maybe 20 Heart of Kirins and 10 Smuggler's Copters or something like that. So that is another thing that you could look at doing. I think that covers most of the cards that I wanted to talk about out of Aether Revolt. Hour of Devastation, Hour of Devastating Our Wallets, as Rudy likes to call it. Scarab God's $12 during its time in Standard. This card was up over 30. Could it get back up to 30 in this format? I don't know about that, but it could get up into the 20s, I think. So keep that in mind. Nicole Bolas is like $6. It could maybe go to 10. I think that Ramunap Excavator might have room in some kind of value deck somewhere. A Braid, this is a big one. So it's $1.92 right now, and I think this would be showing up a lot. A Braid also has been showing up a little bit in Legacy and a little bit in Modern. So if you pick up some Braids, you're not really throwing money away, because it's going to see play other places, and it would be a huge staple in this new format. Scavenger Grounds is the same thing. This is a real thing in both Modern, Legacy, and Commander, everywhere. And $2, that's pretty good. So maybe Hour of Devastation at $1. It's, something that can see some play here and there, perhaps. Oh yeah, good old God Pharaoh's Gift is 84 cents. I'm sure there could be a deck that could play around this. Also, you should keep an eye on all of these lands from all these uncommon lands from Hour of Devastation, especially Ramunap Ruins. Where even is Ramunap Ruins? Where are the ruins? 40 cents. Look at that, 40 cents. If this didn't get banned out the gate, this would definitely be on a powerhouse. I'm not so sure it would get banned out the gate, even though it was really good and eventually did get banned. The type of format we're talking about would be strong enough that it might be able to contend with something like this. I mean, obviously Ramunap Ruins is legal in Modern and does literal nothing, so yeah, Anyway, these are the kind of things you should be keeping an eye out for. Alright, you're starting to get the idea. Again, we're looking for stuff that could be good in this new format. Also has outs in other formats in case nothing happens. Let's see here. Ronus, $7, too rich for my blood. Liliana, Death's Majesty. I don't know how good this Planeswalker is going to be in the new format. Same thing for getting it. Okay, Hazoret at $4 looks pretty good. Pretty sure a lot of people will just play red, especially if you can play the Ramunap Ruins and all that kind of degeneracy, with Hazoret only being $4. And, this is a card that sees a little bit of fringe play in Modern and Commander. This is Steward of Elements, Vizier of the Menagerie, A lot of this stuff's pretty bad. Now, these tap cycle lands, I don't think they're good. Because remember, we don't have the fetch lands, and coming into play tapped is still pretty bad. So I wouldn't touch any of that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. Soulscar Mage, $1.74. If there's some kind of red deck, it could be there. That would probably be one that would be okay. So really, there's just, maybe Zombies becomes a deck again. Liliana's Mastery could be something you look at. Oh yeah, good old Glorybringer. There's a chance that it'll show up in some kind of a red deck or a control deck. But as you can see, there's not really a ton of stuff out of Amonkhet that I'm really really particularly excited about. Maybe pull from tomorrow, but not sure. But anyway, I've talked about enough cards here that I think are go-tos that you generally get the idea. So yeah, I would basically just try to find cards that are already going to be played in Modern, maybe Legacy, Commander, ideally all three. They're decent cards, they're cheap, and if this new format came to be, they would be really good in that format. That's the perfect alignment of factors because you're buying cards, whatever price you buy them at, they're probably not going to go down, and you could just trade them off or whatever if this new format doesn't materialize. And if this new format does materialize, you could get absurd, stupid returns. So it's kind of like not really much downside, a whole lot of upside. That seems like a good place to be to me, even if we are basically betting on the existence of Bigfoot. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a good one. I'll catch you next time. Peace.